review is actually on the Crux35 by Happymodel. So we're going to go and look at all the different things on this drone. I already have it put together, so we're not going to do an unboxing on it, but I just want to let you guys know my likes and dislikes of this drone and the price point and all that stuff, which the price point's pretty good. It's $142 for the analog version. I think it's a little bit more for the other versions. There's 2 other versions, but I'll get into that in a second. So yeah, guys, let's jump right into the Crux35. Alright guys, this is the Crux35, Happymodel Crux35. This is the analog version with the SPI ELRS receiver on board. It's built into the flight controller. So right here, you can actually see it. That's where the antenna comes off of the board, right there. It's a UFL connector, and it goes all the way up, and it goes up to here. And this is your antenna for your ELRS receiver. Okay, and then you got your VTX right there, which your VTX actually goes up from, it's another UFL connector right in there, and it goes up and out through this TPU mount. And I put some super glue right here to glue that down in there, so this doesn't come out, because it came out easily and it could pop the UFL connector off. But I crashed it a couple times out there and it hasn't come off. So I think that's a pretty good fix. So, okay, and so yeah, this guy is a pretty stinky cool quad. You can do a lot better acro with this than you can with this other guy. The battery life on the quad, I was using the 750 milliamp BetaFPV Speedy 4S 95C batteries. I was doing a lot of punch outs. I was flying pretty aggressive. I maybe got 2-3 minutes tops on this battery, and then it dropped. It tanked down into the 2.7, 2.6. So yeah, I don't know if I ruined these batteries. I may have, but yeah, the punch outs on it just drained this battery. I might get another battery with a different C rating, and it might do better. I don't know, but yeah, as far as cruisy flights, I haven't done a cruisy flight yet. I was just doing a whole bunch of punch outs trying to get a feel for the drone, how I fly. But yeah, I will do a cruisy flight with this drone in another video just to see how long, because that cruisy flight will make the batteries last a little bit longer. So yeah, I was pretty disappointed how fast these batteries sagged down. They weren't charged up fully, so I don't know if it was because they weren't charged up and on the top end or whatever. But yeah, I was pretty surprised how fast these batteries sagged down. So anyways, so the drone is 3.5 inch props. And how that is measured is from one end is how whenever the prop spins, the diameter across how wide the props are whenever they spin, and it's 3.5 inches. That's how you measure a quad. So a 5-inch quad, they're gonna have 5-inch props. This is 3.5 inches. These are 3.5-inch props. Another thing I want to point out, in my other video with TinyGO, I went over the prop rotation and the orientation of the props. I was mistaken. How the orientation of the props. One thing that I had right was whenever you orient the props, you want to do it 1, 2, 3, 4. You want 2 and 3 to be the same, and 4 and 1 to be the same. But where I got wrong was the leading edge of the prop. I thought it was the bottom edge down here that was the sharp edge being the leading edge, and it would go this way, but that's inaccurate. You want your leading edge to be this the bigger edge of the prop, and the higher edge on the prop, that's your leading edge. So whenever I said these were clockwise props, these aren't. These are the counterclockwise props, and they spin like this, and these spin this way. So this would be props out orientation, because they're spinning away from the camera, from the front of the drone. They'll be spinning this way, and then these are props. It's both props out, so these are spinning away and in. This orientation on the TinyGO, these are also props out orientation. I thought they were props in because they spin out from the camera. So yeah, that's what I had got wrong on that other video on how the props go. But yeah, so these props are mounted with the these little, I think these are 1.5 millimeter screws, but they're hex screws, so you only need a 1.5 millimeter hex driver to mount these screws, and it actually comes with one of those in the kit. Well, in the pack with the drones, it comes with an extra set of props. This is actually a Foxeer, my other Foxeer antenna I just put in there. It doesn't come with that. It comes with an extra set of props. It comes with some Happymodel stickers. And it actually, what was pretty cool about this this one was whenever I first was looking into this, a lot of people were saying it didn't come with a battery pad. So your battery's scraping up on the bottom of the quad. So I actually bought a battery pad. And this is a piece of the battery pad I bought. But they actually shipped it, if you could see, with a battery pad that goes over the screws. So your battery doesn't sit right down on the carbon fiber or right down on the screws. It actually gives it some stickiness to where whenever you strap your battery in, I'll do that right now. Yeah, whenever you strap your battery in, it straps in good. So before I strap this battery in, I want to... One of the critiques I have about this quad is this battery strap is way too long. It's just like ridiculously, you don't need this much strap for a small quad like this. You're not going to be flying big batteries on this quad. So yeah, the strap is way too long for the batteries. But what I did was I pulled this strap down closer, like this buckle, closer to the bottom of the quad, and it actually makes the strap... Here, let's flip this over like this. This goes around. It makes the strap to where it doesn't have a lot of overhang on the other end whenever you strap the battery in. And you want to get it a good tight fit around the battery. So like, yeah, whenever you strap the battery in like this, let's put it in like that. It just gives a little overhang right here, which it's not in the props. Like, in that, to me, this is doable. Like, you could have just a little overhang for the battery. So yeah, the battery, I do like that. You put the lead in the front and then you plug it up like that. I'm not going to plug this battery in because it's dead battery, and I don't want to draw any more on the quad. But you guys saw how the quad flies and everything. So yeah, you put the battery in like that, and what you want to do is whenever you put your battery on your quad, you want to kind of like even it out to where like your center weight is like in the middle of the quad, so your battery's not weighing too far on the back or too far on the front. Now, if you put a heavier HD camera up here eventually, you kind of want to offset the battery with the camera. So maybe pull the battery back a little bit and strap it a little bit this way to offset the weight, because you don't want all of your weight on the front of your quad, because it's gonna weigh the front of the quad down. But yeah, this guy flies like super nimble. It's a very, very little, I don't know, it just flies in the air very well. I don't know how weight on this front would affect the flights, but eventually I plan on getting an Insta360 Go to put up here, and I got a mount that's coming in the mail for that Insta360 Go. I don't have the Insta360 Go yet. That's going to probably be a few months before I get that and could get some HD flights in on this guy. But I still have fun flying around in analog, and if you guys want to, I could post some DVR footage of this flying around in analog. So, but I know it's not the best video, but yeah, it's still a lot of fun. And actually, this camera is a lot better camera, in my opinion, than the analog that you see through this in analog on the ExpressLRS 4K. The 4K on this is fantastic. But this analog camera, I think, is a lot better quality, because I could see better through this one. It just, like, the picture looks better to me. This is the Caddx Ant Nano camera. And I think it's a pretty good camera. It actually comes with a little toggle joystick to get into your camera settings. I don't know what my little joystick is, but to hook that up, you have this little connector in the back of the camera. See if I could see a little white connector right here, right there on the back of the camera. That's where your cable on the little joystick, whenever you get this quad, you hook that up into there, and you can go into your settings of your camera on here. So yeah, that's something I figured out that I didn't know where that was, and I'm just letting you guys know so you guys don't have to worry about finding that. But yeah, so yeah, in conclusion, guys, I really like this quad. I think it's a pretty beast of a quad, and with ELRS, it just I like my video breaks up, but I don't ever have to worry about losing connection with this quad. Like it's just freaking amazing. The motors right here. These motors are a Happymodel 1404 3500 kV motors. They are plugs. They don't solder into the board, but I don't think you could find the plugged motors out there. Like whenever you buy these motors, they will be just the wires. So if you ever have to replace a motor, you're probably going to have to solder it onto the board where these little pins are. So you have to get the plug out, take this plug off, and solder the wires right there onto those pins. But yeah, these motors are pretty good. They do the job well. That's what I will say. All right, guys. So that is the review for the Happymodel Crux35. I really like this quad. I've only flown it a couple times, but it feels really good, especially linked to the Tx12. So this little setup right here, I am thoroughly pleased with. A couple little things more I want to talk to you about this quad. I know I keep bringing stuff up, but anyway, so the quad itself is $142 for the ELRS version, analog version. They have two other versions. They have the FreeSky version, and they have the DJI version, which is it comes with the DJI Vista unit. It weighs the quad down a little bit more, but you get your HD video. You can use your DJI goggles with it if you have DJI goggles. But I got the analog version because I don't fly DJI. I have analog. And then they actually have another version of this, which is the HD0 version. If you have fat sharks with shark bite, you could utilize the HD0 feature of this quad. So you could fly 720p in your goggles on your fat sharks. So yeah, guys, that is the Crux35, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys found this information, and hope you got some information out of this, and you learned a little bit. I know I've learned a little bit on this quad. I did bind it. Well, no, I did flash the firmware, and the flashing of this firmware, it's a bit particular. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna leave a link in the description for Albert Kim's video on this quad and how you upgrade the SPI receiver from whatever version it comes shipped to the newest firmware update. And you have to update your Betaflight to 4.3, and once you do that, you do everything through Betaflight. So he's got a really good video, a tutorial on that. So I don't feel like I wouldn't do it justice. He does a great job on explaining that for that. Also, on the TinyGO, updating this guy to version 4.3, I'm going to leave a link in the description to 719FPV's video on upgrading this flight controller to 4.3. So yeah, so you guys would be able to do that, and you could update this, and you could use it in Betaflight and all of that. So both of them really good. Nick Burns does a really good review on this quad too, and yeah, I could leave a link in his description. His flight times were a lot longer than mine was, so I might just have to get some new batteries. I'm not sure. But I'm going to leave all those links in the description. Guys, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you guys coming by and watching the channel, watching the videos. It means a lot to me. And just so you know, you guys that are like, OG TinyGO, I'm not done with this guy. Like, I'm going to update this one. But I'm probably going to be done with this controller right here. So this controller I'm probably going to give to my son. And maybe get another TinyGO quad and link it up to this one. And he can learn how to fly. But yeah, my littlest one. So this will probably be his controller, so he can learn how to fly. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, guys. And if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Drop a like on this video if you found it pretty good and entertaining or informal or whatever you want. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.